For nearly 12 years, Daniel was the person organizations trusted when something important needed to be stabilized. Promotions arrived without negotiation. Compensation rose predictably. Performance reviews used the same language: reliable, intelligent, indispensable. Colleagues sought his judgment before making difficult decisions. Senior leaders invited him into rooms that were not technically his yet. Nothing about his career suggested fragility, and yet, when a regional director role opened, Daniel did something almost imperceptible. He did not apply. He told himself he needed one more cycle, one more proof point, one more stretch assignment. No one questioned it, least of all him. Daniel represents a category of professional rarely discussed because externally there is no visible problem. He was not overlooked. He was not underpaid. He was not struggling. His trajectory made sense. But internally, his professional identity had quietly narrowed. He saw himself as the person who executes complex work flawlessly, not the person who defines direction. So he optimized for certainty. He prepared more than necessary. He verified what others would have approximated. He entered rooms only when he knew he could not be exposed. This is where capable people get confused. Because preparation feels like professionalism. Restraint feels like maturity. Caution looks like intelligence. Nothing is technically wrong, and that's the problem. From the outside, Daniel appeared confident. From the inside, his confidence had conditions. He trusted himself after evidence appeared. Never before. So he built a career on demonstrated competence while quietly avoiding arenas that require self-permission rather than proof. Leadership roles, strategic authorship, visible decision ownership. Not because he lacked ability, but because those spaces remove the protective layer of certainty. Here is the contradiction most professionals miss. The more intelligent you are, the easier it becomes to construct a self-image that is always defensible. You learn how to stay within the perimeter of what you can justify, and over time, justification replaces expansion. The issue isn't effort. The issue is the internal threshold you've set for when you are allowed to move. Daniel believed confidence was something earned after undeniable readiness. But senior responsibility is rarely given to the undeniably ready. It is given to those willing to be seen before certainty arrives. So while his expertise grew, his self-perception remained anchored to an earlier version of himself, the high performer who proves value, not the authority who defines it. This is not humility. It is identity lag. Identity lag is expensive precisely because it is invisible. Years pass without dramatic failure, only quiet deferral. Opportunities circulate, peers accelerate, decision tables subtly reorganize without you, not as a rejection, as an adjustment to who appears comfortable occupying space. Meanwhile, your professional reputation becomes paradoxical, trusted but not obvious for elevation, respected but not associated with direction, valuable but not central. Professional invisibility rarely begins with incompetence. It begins when others stop recalibrating their mental model of your range, because you haven't recalibrated it yourself. Daniel eventually watched someone he had trained step into the director role. The explanation was simple. She already operates at that altitude. What went unspoken was quieter. Daniel had never signaled that he believed he did, and organizations rarely argue with the identity you project through your choices. This is the quiet cost of the confidence gap. Your career continues to advance, just not toward the rooms where trajectory is decided. You accumulate achievements without altering your professional gravity, success without relocation, movement without arrival. After a certain point, the discomfort shifts. It is no longer about whether you are capable. It becomes the harder question. How long have I been participating below my actual range? Confidence is often misunderstood as boldness. In reality, it is authorship. It is the internal decision about which version of yourself is permitted to exist publicly. Most professionals assume their career expands in response to accumulated proof, but careers tend to expand when self-perception updates faster than evidence, not recklessly, but deliberately. Daniel's turning point was not triggered by failure. It came during a succession planning discussion he was invited to observe. As leaders debated future organizational direction, he noticed something unsettling. The conversation was not more sophisticated than the ones he already navigated. The difference was psychological, not intellectual. No one in that room was waiting to feel fully ready. They had accepted that uncertainty was not a disqualifier. It was the terrain. In that moment, something became difficult to ignore. For years, Daniel had been asking permission from a standard no one else was using. This is where many high-capacity professionals misread the landscape. They treat confidence as the result of expansion, when in practice, expansion often follows the decision to see oneself differently, slightly earlier than feels reasonable. The confidence gap is rarely about doubting your ability. It is about maintaining loyalty to a smaller professional identity long after it has expired. Nothing external needs to block your trajectory if your internal definition already has. And the longer competence coexists with outdated self-perception, the more success begins to feel strangely uninhabited. Not because you chose the wrong career, but because you never fully occupied the one you built. If this way of thinking resonates with you, if you want to move beyond surface-level opinions and start seeing the deeper forces shaping decisions, follow this channel. Here, we do not tell you what to think. We help you learn how to see through the strategy lens.